Alright, here's the second video that I'm going to record from last week's assignment. Alright, so same as last time, you turn on my track changes. Make sure that your tracking is set to all markups so you can see all my comments and changes. Okay, first things first, do not include any of your class information. I mentioned this in the announcement, a few notes about the writing assignment this semester. So don't include that. Also, this was actually the name of the person's file name, but it said the person's last name instead of student. You don't need fish in there. It should just be your last name, not my last name. That was just an example if I were turning in a paper. It should be your last name, WA1, up there. So anyway. All right. Thinking and problem solving attributes. Ability to organize and express ideas clearly, provides and receives constructive feedback, attention to detail, thinking outside the box. All right. So if you haven't watched other videos, some of this might be, or if you have watched other videos, some of this might be a little redundant. But some of this is also going to be new because these people both made different mistakes. Okay, so anytime you have a list, whether it's a number list, bulleted list, or a list in a sentence, you have to make sure your items in the list are in parallel format. Parallel format means that each item is in the same grammatical format. So if you have a bulleted item that starts with a verb, they all have to start with verbs. If you have a bulleted item that's a complete sentence, they all have to be complete sentences. So this one here, ability is a noun. This one here, provides and receives verbs. Attention to detail, attention, noun. So thinking is an ing verb. Anyway, so you can see here that these items are not in parallel format. So let's see, I'm going to change them to verbs because I think that's going to be the easiest for this one. So we'll say organizes and expresses ideas completely. So we have organizes and expresses, provides and receives. Now we have two with verbs. And then we'll say pays attention to detail and then thinks outside the box. Okay, cool. So now we have all four bulleted items, all start with verbs. Okay, summary time. I am very detail oriented. In any project or situation that I am part of, I have the ability to organize and express my ideas clearly and concisely. I believe that in order for any problem to be solved, questions should be asked and problem solving should be looked at in conventional or possibly a non-conventional way. That's a little worded awkwardly. I believe that in order for any problem to be solved, questions should be asked and problem solving should be looked at in conventional or possibly. So the word a here is because we're saying conventional like generically, and then now we're saying a as in more like one. So in conventional or possibly non-conventional ways, thinking outside the box can bring great results. Okay, so that doesn't really summarize this person's personal attributes. The whole point of the summary is that you're supposed to summarize how you use or demonstrate these personal attributes in your line of work or in your career. And I am detail oriented just restates this attribute here. I have the ability to organize and express my ideas clearly. That's pretty much verbatim as that. So how do you show that you're detail oriented? How do you show that you are organized and express your ideas clearly and concisely? So, and instead of this is kind of wordy, I have the ability to, so I organize and express my ideas concisely. I believe that in order for any problem to be solved, questions should be asked and problem solving should be looked at. And so this is, since we're joining two complete sentences with a comma or a conjunction here, we need a comma with it. So, for example, I believe that in order for any problem to be solved, questions should be asked. That's a complete sentence. I believe that in order for any problem to be solved, problem solving should be looked at in conventional or possibly non-conventional ways. So that's a complete sentence. Since we're doing two complete sentences with this conjunction here, we need a comma with it. And then this last one, thinking outside the box can bring great results. So again, that's not much of a summary of this person's attributes. Okay, so the next one, oral and written communication. So speaking of attention to detail, this person has attention to detail, but yet we use an ampersand here and up here. In this title, we use the word and. Be consistent with your formatting. Especially when we get to the point where we're doing resumes, you really want to be consistent. All right, so we're going to change this to match the other ones because that's the only one. Okay. Again, it might sound kind of nitpicky, but when you are communicating in the business world, you want to send a message to people who may only ever see your writing and will judge you by what they see. So be that person who pays attention to detail. Don't just say it. Okay, so offer compelling and persuasive arguments. Effective use. So we have offer as a verb, and up here we used organizes like with an S, and we have offer here, so it should be offers. Compelling and persuasive arguments. How about effectively uses, because we want to be parallel format, right? Effectively uses communication technology, and then gives, and why is this capitalized? Because we haven't capitalized anything else like this yet, so we want to make sure our formatting is consistent. Gives and receives feedback, clarifies expectations and responsibilities. Okay, let's see what we got here. In my line of work, it is very important to have strong oral and written skills. In project-oriented task, so task, we're missing an S here. Oops, I keep doing that. That are given to my direct reports. So maybe this wording is confusing because like a report is like a paper report, but I think this is being used as a title of a person possibly because you would give a task to a person. So this wording is unclear and confusing. Okay. Let's see, in project-oriented tasks that are given to my direct reports, I'll say we'll just say this is typically used to mean a written report. But I think you mean this to be a person, something like that. Anyway, okay. I provide clarification of what their responsibilities are and expectations I have for them. Really quick note about that word "the." That's such an easy mistake to miss. I miss those things in my own writing all the time. And here's the thing, anytime we read things, our brains do not read every word, and they definitely don't read every letter. They fill in the blanks. Our brains are so smart, especially with the things that we have written, because our brains know what that should say. So this person's brain knew that the word "the" shouldn't have been there, and so this person's brain probably just skipped right over it and didn't even read it as it was there. So that's one reason why it's really good to have a really good idea to have somebody else proofread your writing, because they are more likely to catch something that you're going to miss in your own writing. Even then, they still might miss it because that's an easy mistake to overlook. All right. I provide clarification of what the responsibilities are and the expectations I have for them. I would just change this. I would provide clarification of their responsibilities and, okay, there. I have weekly one-on-one meetings to provide constructive feedback to my employees and follow up with that feedback in email. So this is actually not going to be hyphenated, because if you're saying like a follow-up email, follow-up would be describing email, so then it would be hyphenated because it's one word technically. But we're saying I follow up with, so that's two words. I also attend a weekly one-on-one with my supervisor to receive constructive feedback and discuss any issues or work that needs to be done. I work with offices across the country, so effective use of communication technology is a must. Okay, comma here, because remember we said comma with a conjunction, that's a conjunction when you're joining two complete sentences. I work with offices across country, complete sentence. Effective use of communication technology is a must, is a complete sentence, so we join that with a conjunction and a comma. Oral and written communication needs to be clear for all who, because we're talking about people are who's, not that's, who are involved. Collaborative conference calls have written agendas so that the team can discuss them efficiently. All right, so that is a much better summary because this summary actually talks about what this person does. All right. Professional and positive attitude, good listener, communicates in a clear and concise manner, team player with an encouraging attitude. All right, so attitude noun, listener noun, player noun, communicates verb. So that one will have to be rewritten. I'll have to think about that. Okay. I come to work with a professional and positive attitude. I value myself as a team player with an encouraging attitude towards my team and all projects that are assigned to me. And being a team player, I am flexible, always working on improving performance and efficiency, but most of all, I work to keep, okay, so just add a little punctuation here, but most of all, okay, we need, whoops, 2 commas here. 1, remember anytime we join 2 complete sentences with a conjunction, we need a comma, and so this starts a new sentence. That's a complete sentence. Most of all, I work to keep our teams engaged so we can focus on meaningful work and positive outcomes as a complete sentence. And then we also need a complete sentence before, after an introductory expression. So if this were actually a capital M, you can imagine, most of all would be our introductory expression. So we need a comma after it. Hope that makes sense because I just said it really quickly. But most of all, I work to keep our teams engaged so we can focus on meaningful work and positive outcomes. I strive to be a good listener. I believe that true listening is an integral part of a job or my job. Either one. People in general, comma, around words that are non-essential, or words or phrases that are non-essential, want to be heard by actively listening to a customer or a direct report. Trust can be built. Okay, so that's actually a run-on. People in general want to be heard. That's a complete sentence. You cannot join 2 complete sentences with a comma. That's called a comma splice. So we can do one of 2 things. We can change this to a semicolon because a semicolon, it can join 2 complete sentences with the or on its own. Or we could put period. By actively listening to a customer direct report, trust can be built. So this one, again, better than the first, although I wish there were a little bit more detail on the professional and positive attitude. This person did talk a lot about being a team player and about listening. What about communication? Clear. I didn't see that meaningful work, positive outcomes. So I didn't really see where this was described. So this item is not in parallel format, and I don't see where it is described in your summary. Because we talked about team player, good listener, positive attitude, but I don't see anything about communication concisely. Okay, last one. Discipline to meet timelines and deadlines. Timelines and deadlines. Kind of the same, but okay. Reliable and loyal. Self-motivated. High sense of integrity. So self-motivated, adjective. Reliable and loyal, adjective. Discipline is actually noun, but we could change it to disciplined, which makes it an adjective. Disciplined to meet timelines and deadlines. And then this one here, this is not in parallel format with the others, right? So, okay, I have a high sense of integrity. I believe that every employee should be honest and have strong moral principles. I am self-motivated to provide quality work and work independently of others while still being a team player. I believe that it is important to be disciplined at all times, but definitely while working on urgent timelines, making sure to meet key milestones and deadlines on all work and projects. That's kind of wordy. Furthermore, I believe being reliable and loyal I keep saying that. It should be a word, right? Furthermore, I believe being reliable and loyal are key to being a great employee. Okay, so that could be developed a little bit more because it doesn't really summarize much about being reliable and loyal. I believe that is important to be disciplined at all times, but definitely while working on urgent timelines. So we'll just maybe, I'll try to think, while working on urgent timelines and making sure to meet, we'll just do that, and making sure to meet key milestones and deadlines on all work projects. Okay, so there you have it. So for this person, the first category needed some work because it wasn't really a summary. It was just more of a regurgitation. We need some work on the parallel format. And then also some, just remember that even though you use certain terminology in your work, your audience might not be familiar with that. And that's just not me as your grader, but that is just in general, right? As writers, we want to make sure that we are speaking in a language that people are going to understand. So you always have to know who your audience is. So there's a little bit here and there of wording that could be clear just by even deleting a few words. But otherwise, yeah, those are the main things that I saw. Hope that helps.